Okay, so here's what we need to get started on our Easter wreath. I always use the 14-inch metal ring from Dollar Tree. Now, I know that they've been getting harder to find for some reason, so if you do check another craft store, just remember that if you go smaller, your mesh is going to be more crunched together, because I really only try to use these two rings, and then I usually alter. If I want it to be a little wider, I'll use this one, and if I'm using a sign that's a little smaller, then I'll use this one. So just keep that in mind. So if you can't find a 14-inch, I would go with maybe a 15-inch or a 16-inch, not use the outside ring, and then just use the inner ring depending on how they have their wire made up here for the sections. So keep that in mind. But I have noticed there's been a lot more Dollar Tree floral items in stock, especially the rings. So check yours. I've been lucky to be able to find mine. I normally use 6 of the mesh from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use a variety of colors, but today I'm only going to use 5 of these, and these are the 6-inch mesh that Dollar Tree carries. So again, if you want to go to another store, all you want to make sure of is the size this way, because then you have less fraying on the both sides, and then you don't have to worry about it when you cut it. So we're going to use the 5 of these, and the reason that we're only using 5 of these this time is because I always have mine ready to go. I'm going to mix it up, and I'm going to use the purple, the pink, and the blue. And then what I did was I accented the, oh no, I don't have blue on this one. I have purple, pink, and white on this one. And then on this one, so you can see, I have my blue, white, and then I'm using the tulle mesh. And I put them on here like this, just to kind of give different accents as I'm going around making my wreath. So this one I put ribbon on, this one I put the tulle on, and I made all of my blue and white ones like this, and the other one so that it kind of all blends together when I'm doing it. So you can do it however you want to do it. I just thought it was fun like this. I'll show you guys how I cut these and the size that I made them. And then of course you're going to need some ribbon if you're going to do it the way I did, where we're going to cut these and we're going to cut the ends off to make them kind of decorative. So you'll need, depending on how many you're going to use, I only bought one because I'm accenting also with the mesh tool. That's entirely up to you. Dollar Tree does carry the mesh tool, and I got the 3 colors, green, pink, and yellow. So I have all 3 of these. Now, some people are real sticklers, and I have OCD on some things. This is not one of those things that bothers me with the, you know, the stems to twist your little bunches. Some people say, you can see it. I've never seen a mesh wreath that you can see when you twine this together and you put it on the back. That's just me. I honestly believe it's just a preference. It's entirely up to you. You can twine these around the back to make them look nice and neat when you're finished. But I've never had anybody question why I didn't use the solid color. You don't see it. It's hanging on a door. Of course, if you're hanging it on a glass window where you can see the back side, say from an office door, you might want to put something on the back regardless, just to cover the whole back and make it look decorative with a sign or something. But that's entirely up to you too. But look, I have it bunched together. You can't even tell that I used a green one on there. So that's entirely up to you as well. And then you just need your little accents. So I have these little eggs that I'm going to put in there. And I do have a little Easter sign that I have to find. And then I got the cute little carrots that I thought we'd try and put a few in there. Now, I posted the Dollar Tree haul the other day, and of course everybody gives such great ideas. And a couple of them suggested getting some of these for winter time when we make our snowman. How cute is that? The carrot for the nose. So just another idea that some of you guys throw out there. I always like to mention that it's not my idea, it's yours, and I thought it was really cute because sometimes we can use things that are for another season, but we have to pick it up now because they're going to be out of it. So let me just show you real quickly on how I do all my things with this particular wreath. And what I want to show you first, that I always tell you guys, is depending on your hands, I only cut, if you need to cut them in half, that's fine, but you're wasting a lot of material. So I always cut mine into 3, and I cut them, I kind of estimate it. I don't really do anything out of the ordinary. These are the kitchen shears from Dollar Tree. I like them because they're a little bit sharper than their regular scissors, but I do know that a lot of people talk about fraying. The problem with the fraying is your blade's not sharp enough. I don't really have any trouble, which I'm going to show you. So I make them about this size, and it just twists around there and then twists around the backside, because that's where you get all that extra stuff on the backside that you really don't need it there, and there's no purpose for it. So, but there's a lot of people that have like carpal tunnel and things like that, so their hands hurt. So if that's the case, then I would use them longer, and I'm starting to get that a little bit in my hands too. So what we're going to do is, first I'm going to show you how to make one of these, and one of these. So as I said, I'm just using the two colors. I'm using white and I'm using blue. And I always stack mine on top just to save a little bit of time, instead of having to cut them one by one. And I use a wheel with the blade to make mine because it's just quicker. I think it's quicker. So I use this rotary fisker. And you got to make sure the blade is sharp. So I just want to show you. So again, on my table, what I do to make it easier is I mark off from starting point of the corner to one mark is 6 inches, 12 inches, 18 inches, 24, and I stop there. I usually only use like these first ones in the beginning anyway. So this just saves me time. If you don't want to write on your table, you can take some masking tape. You can put the masking tape at 6 and then put a little mark, and then this way you can peel it off and you don't have to worry about having your table marked up. But this is my craft table, so I don't care. So I'm going to start at the 6 right here, and I'm just going to cut it at this 6. So I just want you to see that I do press kind of hard, just so that I get a nice clean, see, there's no fraying there. So a lot of people talk about the fraying problem that they have, and I just don't have that problem. So I'm only going to cut a few of these because I have a bunch of them made up already. And those are going to fill in where you would normally use 6 rows of mesh. I am going to put those in between with the ribbon and the mesh tooling, because I don't want it too crunched together like a normal wreath would be. So you can use 6 if you want, and you can do it however you want. You could do it this same way, but I'm just trying to give you guys the heads up on why I'm doing it this way. So let's cut another one. And I usually cut from top to bottom, but that again is entirely up to you. Now, if you buy Dollar Tree scissors, I've used them before in the past, and people say they're garbage, they don't work. I've never had a problem with them. And if you have a pair of scissors that you've been using and you notice they're not cutting that well, take a piece of tin foil and start to cut the tin foil, and it'll sharpen the blade for you, so you don't have to worry about your scissors not being sharp enough either. And the thicker the foil, the better, because it's going to make the blades nice and sharp. So that's all you have to do, and that's the trick to not fraying. So here's the piece that I've been cutting off. See, there's no fraying there. And I'm going to make just 2 more, because I'm going to show you guys what I do with my ribbon and what I do with the tooling. And we're going to get started. And like I always tell you guys, I'm going to get you guys started. I'm going to stop and come back and show you where we're at. We're going to finish off our wreath so we don't take up too much time. So here's our 2 pieces. Okay, so 1, 2, and the only reason I stack them is just to save time. There's no other reason to make the wreath better or anything like that. And then I'm going to take some of the tooling, and I try to keep it in this little package here, because boy, it gets everywhere when you don't. And I went from here to here. So if I folded it in half and I folded it again, so I'm going to go a little bit longer than that. So let me go from the corner down. So that would be 6, 12, that would be 24. Okay, so there we go. 24 is perfect. So from the corner of my table down to this mark, because we have 6, 12, 18, 24. And I'm just going to cut it right there. Okay, now to save time, again, so you don't have to keep doing that on your table over and over, you can just take your next one and put it on there and cut your next one, and then do pink, because I'm going to switch mine up because I want all the different colors in there. See what I mean? When you start to pull it out, you got to kind of just go with it now. And then we're going to, oops, put this on here. Okay, and cut that. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to take our mesh and one of these tubings, and we're going to just curl it. Okay, so you just put it on your table, you curl it, okay, try to make it a little straighter, because then it will start to give it the other look. And I'm going to do the other spiky sunburst look on my next wreath, so I'll share that one with you guys soon. Okay, so we're going to do this one. Okay, so now we have only 2 pieces of mesh, but we're going to take one of these tubings and we're just going to fold it in half, and fold it in half again, and then we're going to put that in the center, and this is going to be the part that's going to be up as we're doing it, okay? So I happen to have a yellow pipe cleaner, and see, for me, because I don't have trouble with my fingers, this is all you need to get on the back of your wreath. Everybody does it different. There's a lot of great wreath tutorial teachers out there. I'm going to post some links below to have you guys watch a few different wreath makers and their pages or YouTube channels so that you can check them out, because you guys know that I do make some wreaths, but I make a variety of things, and these are strictly wreath makers where you can learn a lot of wonderful techniques. So I'll post those links below. One is Carmen. I love her. And then there is another one. When we come back, I'll give you the name. As I tell you guys, my memory is not the same as it used to be. I feel like I'm a hamster on a wheel going in the wrong direction sometimes because my memory is so forgetful. So if you get a little bit of fraying, all you have to do is cut it off. So don't go crazy like you start cutting and then you'll have problems. So just do it like that. And we're going to do another one. Okay, so we'll just roll it. Okay, so that one's there. And always roll upward. You know, don't go in the opposite direction because then it will be a little harder for you to roll. And then we'll do the next one. And then we'll get another piece of our tubing. Where did I put it? Let's see. Here it is. Okay, so now we're going to fold this in half. Again, the tubing is 24 inches. Okay, our mesh is 6 inches. Of course, it's 6 inches this way, but it's 6 inches when we cut it. And then we're just going to... See, now I'm using purple because guess what? I don't care. It doesn't matter. You're not going to see it. But that's just my preference. Everybody does things differently, and you can do whatever you want. I think it's fun to be a little different. We don't have to all be the same. And that's what I always tell you guys. Do what you want to do because it's your wreath. Even if you're selling it, that's what makes arts and crafts or being a crafter so unique and different. So don't always try to copy somebody's exact same thing because it's nice to be very different. Okay, so we have those two done. And now we're going to do one with the ribbon. Now the ribbon, I have 6 inches here and here, but I had to cut it a little bit longer because, you know, ribbon, when you tuck it in to twine it, it takes a little bit more away from it. So what I did was I went 6 inches and I kind of guesstimated it another inch. So I went from my first mark to my second mark and then I just cut it there. Okay. So I probably have about 7 inches. Okay. So this is about 7 inches. And then when you fold it to make your, you know, cut, it'll go in between and it'll fit perfectly. But if you also want to make these a little bigger, that's entirely up to you as well. Okay, so we'll do 2 of these. And again, you can just double stack them. Not double stack them, but, you know, use one as a measurement in the next one. And then you're just going to fold them in half. And with these two, I wouldn't go too many at a time when you stack them, only because you want a nice clean cut from here to here, and they'll start to move the more you have stacked. Again, it's entirely up to you. Each person, each video does things a little bit differently, but I have found that sometimes my cuts aren't as right, and that would drive me more crazy than the color of my pipe cleaner. Okay, so I really want these to be more uniform than I care about the color of the pipe cleaner, because these you're going to see. Okay? So cut that. Okay. And now you have that little V there. Now see what I mean? This side and this side is not even. So I'm going to even this side up. Okay. And now it's a little bit better. Okay. And that's what I just mean about when you're putting them on top of each other. You just want to make sure you're getting the cut that you're looking for. So now what we're going to do is we are going to take 2 of these again. And it doesn't matter, you know, you can put the blue on the bottom, the white on the top, because it's all going to kind of blend together after the fact. Okay, so we're going to do 1. 2. And then this one, we're just going to kind of crunch it in the middle. And we're going to put it on top of here. Okay? So that's all we're going to do. And we're going to take a pipe cleaner. And the thing with the color pipe cleaner too, now if I was doing an all white wreath, then of course I would try to use white. But again, I've done solid color wreaths where I haven't used the right color because they didn't have it at the time or whatever. And then we're just going to tie this on. And I do have a little bit of fraying. Again, I'm not going to make a big deal. I'm just going to trim off what I have. And I am going to spruce this up a little bit. But once you have your wreath together is where you can start to poof everything out so that it's nice and open. I don't know why this reminded me of a butterfly. They just reminded me of butterflies. I know, I'm silly, right? Okay, so that one's done. And we're going to do one more with the ribbon. And then I'm going to get started on the wreath. And as I said, we're going to come back when I am finished putting all this on. But of course, I'm going to show you guys how to do it. So this time we have the blue on the bottom, the white on top. We're scrunching this, just kind of gathering it, okay, in the center. And we're putting it on there. And there you go, okay? And that's all. So this is why I didn't want to have my wreath too full, because I wanted to be able to see my ribbon and things like that, because I didn't want it too tight. Because what I wanted to do was take those little Easter eggs and stuff and put them in the middle of my accent, rather than have it too full and then have everything on it rather than in it. Because when it's in it, you can kind of see the eggs and things, and everything's not so in your face and cluttered looking. But that's just my opinion. Take it with a grain of salt to do whatever you want to do. And then, again, we're just going to trim off whatever we don't like as far as fraying goes, but don't go too crazy. And there we have it. So now let's get started. Here's our wreath. And I have a mess here. Okay, so I don't think any crafter can say they don't have a mess somewhere. I can't wait. In the spring, I have a garage with an upper deck that's all done, and I'm going to redo it and make it my craft studio, because I can stand in it and I can have tables up there, and I want to get that all done so I have a nice place to work. But we have to do some spring ones outside, because I always love doing that. Okay, so here is our frame, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sections on this one. So if you wind up getting one that only has 4 sections or whatever, you'll have to kind of figure out how many are going to go around it. But again, that all depends on your fullness. Now, I only like to use, as I said, this one and this one, which are the 2 center ones. Okay, so we're going to do a section. And I can give you a count on how many I used for my section. Now, you see I have the small pipe cleaner. And look at how much room I still have. And then all you have to do is just, move it over. But it's entirely up to you. I keep telling you guys that. I want you guys to do it your way. And use your creativity and do what you got to do. Okay, so twine it on the back. Okay. And then you can wrap the 2 together, which will kind of give it a little stability too. And then we can take and start putting these in here. And we're going to switch it up, because I don't want the ribbon and the tulle ones to be too close together. Okay, so we'll put one here. I'll show you guys in 1 minute what I'm doing. And all I'm doing is adding these on here. So see what I mean? So I'm only using the center one. So sometimes I notice a lot of people use the top one and they use the bottom one and they put all this mesh on there, and it's so clumped together, it's just too much. And then if you put a sign in the middle, you can't really see the sign or anything. So I do have a little sign that I want to hang, and I want it to come about here. By the time I have my mesh around, that's what you're going to see, is a little Happy Easter here. But that's just my preference. Some people like things really full, and that's entirely up to you. So don't mark my word on everything. I always tell you guys, it's not written in stone, and I think that that's what makes great teachers, is that we have to use our own creativity and our own minds, and do what you got to do. Do it for you. And people will love you for it, because that's what makes us all different. Okay? So look at this. I just put my pink, purple, and white, and then the blue is just kind of making things pop. That's why I wanted it to do it that way rather than the other way. I didn't want these too close together. So I'm going to put another pink, purple, and I'm only going on the middle ones, the 2 middle ones. I have not used the outside one yet. Okay? And then again, when you come back, you can just twine all these together so that they're, you know, kind of cleaned up and uniform. And then we're going to go ahead and I put this one in the middle bottom, and now I'm going to put it in the middle top this time. Okay, so let me go here and here. Okay. So see, there we have. Now we have a little bit of ribbon, we have a little bit of the tooling, and then when I'm finished and I decide how I want to do things, then I can kind of move things around a little bit so that you're able to see the ribbon and you're able to see the tool. And it'll all come together, I promise you. Okay. And I'm going to rotate the colors of the mesh in the middle. All right. And then I'm going to start my next section, and I'm going to come back, and you guys are going to see what I got done. And I'm going to count right now how many we used right here so that you guys know. And I always say you can come back, you can add more, you can take them out. You don't have to just stop with what you have. You can change things up. It's not a big deal. Okay. And then when I come back, I'll have it all done. I'll show you guys how I did it. I just don't like to keep everybody tied up just watching me twine and twine and twine. Okay, so now this is, okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in this one section, okay? And it's going to start to really fill out as I go all the way around. I'm going to finish this up, and as I said, all I'm going to do is rotate. So as you can see, as I'm doing one of the tulle or one of the ribbon, then I'm adding 2 of the other. And if I need to spread them out or whatever I need to do, I can do that when I'm finished, and I can come back. But this is how I'm going to do it, and I'm going to come back in a few minutes, and we're going to decorate it, and we're going to be all finished. So it's really, really simple. It's just another creative way to make your wreath. Again, you can do them however you want, and like little parts like this, we're going to just work with it when we add our little embellishments. So it all depends when you do a mesh wreath, what are you adding to it? So if you're doing just mesh, then of course you want it to be a little bit fuller. But if you want to add embellishments in it to make it look, you know, fun and Easter and spring, then you can use a little bit less mesh so that it's not so gathered and too much on the wreath itself. So, you know what I mean? You kind of got to just guesstimate what you're doing. And the same thing with the sign that we're going to hang. We don't want it too full, because if we put it on the outside, it looks like an unfinished sign just stuck on the outside. I'd like it to be more in the middle and have the mesh kind of surround it rather than just have the Happy Easter just popping out of the top of it. Okay, so I'll be right back and I'll show you what I did. Okay, so I'm back and I have my full wreath completely done. So as you can see, I just didn't want it to be too much of one thing or another, and I just kind of blended it all together. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to accent, and I'm going to put some little Easter eggs in between some of our mesh to kind of make that pop a little bit more. And then this was the sign that I got. Now, if some of you want to, you can take the little Easter eggs, if you can find this sign, and you can put them on the wreath like this. It would be kind of cute. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the hello. And I just wanted to show you guys what I meant earlier. And that is, I want this hello to be right in the center of my wreath. So I'm going to tie it in here. Okay, I'm going to add some tubing mesh to it. And I'm going to just tie it in here. And it's going to kind of sit back a little bit like this, so that it's not like right in your face. Okay, so that is the only thing that I don't like are some of the signs, because the sign looks like it doesn't belong there sometimes. It's just too much. It's sitting on top of the wreath. That's just my opinion. So everybody likes things differently, but when you have the center open enough for your sign where it looks like it fits, that's how I'm going to do this one. But it's entirely up to you. Some people like the signs to pop, but then it takes away from all the work you did on your wreath. So it's entirely up to you how you do it. But this is how I'm going to do this one. I'm just going to add the welcome, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that green tag on there, and I'm going to take some tooling, and I'm just going to tie it to where I want it on my first, right here, the first part of my wire frame. Okay, so I'm going to kind of estimate where I want it. And I can move my mesh around. So I want it to be center. Okay, so this can actually go more forward. So when you're back here, you know what I mean, you can kind of play with things to get it where you want it to be. And then you can, you know what I mean, like move it around so that you know where you want your hello to be. So let me see, because I need to look at it myself. Now it's backwards. So that's the other thing you got to worry about. When you tie it, you have to make sure you're tying it so the ribbon is working with you and not against you. Because then it's just going to keep moving on you. Once you hang it on the door, it'll be okay. Okay, so I just thought this color with the hello was perfect for what I wanted to do. Okay, so let me stick this up here. And again, I'll show you the back to show you that you can't even see my little pipe cleaners. And I am going to get into doing custom signs soon. Not custom signs, but where you guys can order the vinyl and you can make your own signs, because sometimes signs get really expensive. So we want it to be about right there. And it's not cooperating because of the mesh, and I'm not holding it right. So I'm going to tie it. I might have to mess with it as soon as I'm done with the video, because I'm trying to show you guys and it's moving around on me. So let me see here if I do it this way. There we go. So this is what I mean. You have to make sure that when you put it on your mesh, this isn't twisted, because it's, see, now right there it's perfect. So this is how I have to put it on and tie it. So I'm going to put this on. Like, these are the things that'll drive you crazy when you're trying to figure out why it's spinning. Okay, so let me see if I can get this where I want it to be. Okay, so I want it to be right in the center. So I kind of like that. Might raise it up just a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie a bow rather than a knot. So in case I want to get back there again and I want to play with it a little more, I can. But I'm not going to worry too much about that hello, because once it's on, I mean welcome, because once it's on the door, it's going to stay where it needs to go. See, it keeps wanting to turn on me. Okay? So I could try to bring it between the mesh and the back. But we're going to work on it anyway, because we're going to put our eggs and stuff on here. Okay? So that is where I want that. And I'm just going to add some eggs. I don't want to do too much, because that old saying about less is more, I believe is true, because then it just looks too full. It's too fluffy. So let's just add some eggs. So I have my little Easter eggs. But before I do that, if you watched my Dollar Tree haul, I made these little mesh tubing flowers. And I just wanted to show some of you guys, if you wanted to do a spring wreath and you wanted to make some of these, I just wanted to show you guys real quickly how to do that. So all I did again was, I think I went, let's see. Yeah, 12 should be good. So from here to here is 12. And I did 3 of these. And you can make these as big or small as you want, okay? And then what I did was, rather than fold them in half like this, I went from here to make the petal. Okay, so you're going to make 3 of these. And then what you do is, if you fold it in half and you put a dab of hot glue, it does have to be hot glue, because this will really secure together so that you don't have to worry about it coming apart. Just watch your fingers so you don't burn your fingers when you're pressing this. Okay, like I just did. And everybody sends me those little tubing things, but I got fat fingers, so sometimes they don't stay on my fingers right. Okay, so that's one little petal. See, and they stay together perfect. So just, again, fold it in half, find your center. So my center's right there. And if you wanted to get creative, you can use different colors and things like that. And then again, you want to check by the kiosks that are like new, because that's where I always find the buttons at Dollar Tree. They're like in the front of the store. Sometimes they're not by the register, but they're still in the front of the store, and they have all these little trays of different things. And that's where I've always found the buttons that we're going to use in a minute. So these are the buttons that I have that we're going to use, and I have them in blue like the one I did, and I have this one open. So I'm going to use one of these buttons. And let's do our last one. So find your center. right here and add your hot glue. Okay, you can see it's smoking. Alright, and then put that there. And the reason that it's sticking with just one dab of glue is because, of course, the mesh has like a little hole in it. So it works perfect. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to glue these together. Okay, so just find what works best. And we're just going to glue them. And we're just going to put that one on. So we have a big daisy now. Okay, so that's all we have to do to make those. And these are real cute on like spring wreaths if you want to do those. But I don't know if I'm going to have time to do a spring wreath because I have a few Easter things that I want to do. And, well, we got a lot of time in spring, right? Oop, one of my things popped off. Okay, so now let's add our last one here. There. Okay, so let me put a little more glue here. Again, be careful not to burn your fingers. I say it all the time because I'm burning my fingers as I'm going along. So, okay. So that's how you make these, and you can make them bigger, you can make them smaller. There's no right or wrong way to make them. You just make, find your center, glue them together. As you can see, I didn't have enough glue on some of these, so they're popping off. But it's okay, just add more glue. Then add glue to the center. Put your little button on there. Okay. And there you have your little flowers, and you can make up a bunch of these, and then you can just add them to your wreath, however you want to do it. And yes, this wreath, again, is only 5 rolls of the mesh. So if I added 6, you can imagine, oh, look at that, it popped off again. You can imagine how full it would be. So you can work with 5. And I do buy mesh. The only place I know of that has 5.5 inch mesh this way is Hobby Lobby. That's the only place I've ever found that mesh, and it's in the floral department, where they, like the wedding department, and they have all different colors. So that's the only place I've ever found it, but I do wait for it to go on sale. So that's all you have to do to make these flowers, and you can make them in different colors if you can find the mesh tubing. I've never really looked for the mesh tubing at any other store other than Dollar Tree when the seasons come out and they have it. So that's all you have to do to make these little flowers. So I wanted to show you that. And now all we're going to do is we're going to add some Easter eggs inside here. So I am actually going to pull off the little ribbon that's on here. And I'm going to add my hot glue to the base. And of course you want to add enough. And I'm going to just put it in between the Easter egg right here. Okay? So when I have all these little eggs in here, and I'm going to kind of estimate it. So I only got 1 bag of eggs. And we're going to switch the colors around. And I think 1 bag of eggs is more than enough. We might not even use all of them. But like I said, I like things a little bit more simple. Some of the wreaths I see are so, so, so beautiful. Again, I'm going to put the links below for Carmen. And there's one more that I would really, really like to tell you guys about. And I'm going to add the links below just so that you can do that. So here's another one. Here's another of my ribbon right here. So I put a little egg down there. And on camera, it's kind of hard to see sometimes. There's a little egg. So when it's hanging on the door, you're going to see it more. So my sign is still there. It's just kind of doing its own thing. Okay, so I have a yellow one right here. And all I'm trying to do is add my eggs where I have my little mesh and my little ribbon to just kind of accent that they're there. Okay, so let's put this in there. And they stick real easy, so it's not hard to put those in there. Okay, and let's do another one. Let me pull all these off of here. And all I'm doing is taking the little ribbon out of there. So I always tell you guys, I know it seems like hoarding, but sometimes when you need something, it's good to have them. So this is the spool from the ribbon that I just took off. Now, if you wanted to do, on my YouTube channel, I have the candy cane birthday cake. And for layering, you need to figure out what you're going to put in between there. And guess what? This would be perfect to layer your birthday cake. So if you had 2 of these, you would be able to stack your candy bars. So if you want to see that video, just go to my YouTube channel and click on tutorials and scroll down. You'll see that I made the miniature candy bar birthday cake for someone last year. So these will be like work great. So save stuff because you just never know. And then you're looking all over for something to use and you already have it. Okay, so let's add a few more. Okay. And I'm just adding it where I said I had my tubing and my ribbon. So I'm going to put another one here in the green one. Let's see here. I love this hot glue gun. Although it's really, really hot, it is my favorite gun out of any gun I've ever used because it's so hot. Okay, so let's stick this one here. Okay, so we got an Easter egg there. We'll put another Easter egg right here in between this one here. So yeah, 1 bag of these miniature eggs are good. Now, if you use the bigger eggs, I think they only come with like, I think they only come with, where's my sign? There's my sign. Okay. So we have the little Easter eggs in there, there. One's here. And I'm going to add a few more, and I just think it's so springy, and it's colorful, and it's full, and it did exactly what I wanted it to do. So I'm happy with this wreath, and I always tell you guys, do your own thing, be creative. I had gone to a craft show recently, and there were so many wreaths that were they were so the same that you can tell people are, I guess maybe they're afraid to add their own touch. So a lot of these wreaths are looking too alike. And if you're going to sell them at different craft shows, now I'm here in Chicago, I go to quite a few of them. I always like to see what's going on, and now they have all these live videos, and there's so many talented girls. I kind of like just to mix it up and do my own thing, and I don't have a lot of room for a lot of wreaths, so that's probably why I don't do a lot of them, because I make them for my door or I give them away, and that's how I do it. But wreaths are popular. People do like them. A lot of times people worry that they're pricing their items too high or too low. A wreath like this at a craft show, remember, you always have to cover your cost of your space, and of course you want to make a profit. So this wreath here, we used 5 rolls of mesh. So that's $5. We have the wire rim, that's $6. This sign, even though we're going to be able to use the Easter eggs on another wreath, you have to at least add 50 cents for this sign. And then we're going to use a package of eggs. So we had 5, 6, let's see, 5, 6, 7, $7.50. So if you charged $25 to $30 for this wreath, I would even say $30 is a good price, because you have to cover your booth space, you have to cover the cost of the wreath, and you want to make a little bit of profit. This takes about 2 hours to make by the time you cut everything, by the time you get done with everything. So you at least want to make minimum wage, which is $10 here in Illinois. So, I mean, it's going to be up to $14 and $15. So a lot of places are paying that much. So pay yourself that too. Don't cheat yourself. And one thing that people do is they ruin the industry by charging so little. So you'll make $5 because you think I'll sell more wreaths if I sell it for less. If everybody's kept together and sold them for $30 or $35, then everybody's going to do well. So don't cut yourself short. I would pay $30 for a wreath like this. Look how pretty it is. Some might want to do $35. It depends on the price of the show. Some of the shows are $100. You have to make up that money somehow. So, and sometimes I've always learned that people would rather pay a little bit more because they think they're getting a better quality of something as well. So keep that in mind. You know, they don't know where you bought your mesh. They have no idea where you bought your supplies. There's a lot of people that still aren't online. So a lot of people do go to these craft shows and they look for different things. So I'm going to add just a few more Easter eggs. I have 4 more to go. And we're going to just finish this up. And the same thing when I had my store. You know, I had people that would mark their items too low, and I would tell them, I'm raising the price. You're in a higher end area here, and you got to make your money back. So I always just tell people your work has value and don't cheat yourself. So you got to cover your costs for everything, especially if you're doing this for a business. You know, you didn't drive to the store for free. You didn't. You got to pay taxes on what you're earning. So if you make $10 an hour, by the time they took the taxes out, you're making $7 an hour. So, and then a lot of people quit something that they love to do because they didn't make any money doing it. So don't cheat yourself. So see, I love this. I think it's colorful. I think it's springy. I think the Easter eggs are wonderful. And again, if you wanted to take these eggs and you wanted to do this mesh wreath and you wanted to save a little bit of money somehow, you can add these eggs all the way around it and then just hang one in the center. So that's really cute too. So I only have one egg left, and I'm trying to even myself out. And that's the other thing too. When you're doing your wreath, hang it so that you can kind of see. Because sometimes I notice some of the wreaths are full on one side and not full on the other. So you really kind of have to configure it where it looks nice and even and not lopsided. Okay, so that's where I'm going to add my last egg. And here you go. Here is our Easter wreath. I kind of wanted to stick it in. Well, I have an egg there. And in person, they always look... I'll just put it here where I had it because it looked cute there. Okay, so here is our Easter wreath. And it's all done, and I'm so happy I had the chance to do this one with you guys. I have something that's really, really fun coming up. Hello, I am at my last chemo treatment, which means I'll be back. I feel so great. It does knock me down for about 2 weeks, so I'm looking forward to feeling really, really good right after St. Patrick's Day. I'm sorry I wasn't able to do a St. Patrick's Day wreath, but we have Easter coming up so soon, and I wanted to give you guys the time to find the supplies to be able to make your wreaths. And this one is actually for one of my friends. She asked for an Easter wreath, so this gift is for one of my friends that asked me when she said she saw the Easter wreath, and I said, would you like one? She said yes. So I'm actually going to give her this one. So happy Easter to all of you, and have fun making your Easter wreaths and your different things. I have a lot of things coming up. As I said, I have something so simple that you guys can make, and I'm going to try to post that next weekend. So have a great week, and I will see all of you soon. Don't worry if I don't post when I say I'm going to. I will be back, and I will get those things posted for you. Okay? So I'll see you soon. Oh, and real quickly, a lot of people want to add a hanger on here. So what I usually do is I add a zip tie. I leave it a little loose. And they can decide the height that they want to do it, or you can just include some ribbon and a zip tie, and they can decide where they want to hang it or how they want to hang it. Just include it so that they have it, and then they don't say you didn't include something to hang it with. Okay? So have a great day, and I will see all of you really, really soon. Bye now.